Welcome to Everyone Racers.
It's a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ
or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough,
and Chrissy,
and Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm Dave.
You're Dave. Yay. Welcome to Everyone Racers. Welcome to an Eastern Bloc sedan episode of our podcast. It's episode 353, the Wartburg 353, known in some export markets as the Wartburg Knight, is a medium-sized family car produced by the East German car manufacturer AWE for their Wartburg brand. It was a successor of the Wartburg 311, and it was itself succeeded by the Wartburg 1.3. The Wartburg 353 is commonly nicknamed Trustworthy Hans or Farty Hans by the owners due to its durability and copious exhaust emissions, especially when cold and or overoiled, as this was powered by a 1.3 cylinder engine.
A 1 liter 3-cylinder engine.
1 liter 3-cylinder. Thank you. That needed like a comma or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the same basic drivetrain that was in the Wartburg that we
That's terrifying.
molested.
People
all those years
probably
ago.
die in those. So there's
Oh,
that.
many times, I'm sure.
Yes. What
Great. Well,
years?
The like mid 60s to 1982-ish.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I didn't know.
It's East
'cause you
German.
didn't put-
They didn't care.
Yeah,
They just keep, if you can get one, then you just drive it. That's all. You have to know someone in the party to get one.
and then you might die. So there's that too.
Probably.
Always a good
Yeah.
time. Okay, let's go. What you working on?
You know, it's funny because I know what all of us have been working on.
I know what we've been working on. Yep.
Yeah. Dave, what have you been doing? I
Dave,
bet I know.
welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Well, besides the main topic, recuperating
Uh-huh.
has been the main objective.
Yep.
Fixing Bobbin's air conditioner last night at like 9:30, fighting bugs.
It's very convenient. You know how to do that.
Yeah, well, that's what happened when she called me. Is she tell me what it's not doing, and she asked me what she should do, and I said call an HVAC guy.
Oh no.
And she said, I just
And
did.
she's like,
He
I
said,
am.
"Just did." Yep, exactly.
Oh.
So, but all's well. It was simple fix. Was able to get it up and running for her, and then just back to work today. I took yesterday off.
Good for you. That
Really,
sounds
just
nice.
I had to. It was so exhausting this weekend. The heat just really kicked my butt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
tough. And by the time we get home, it's midnight. And yeah.
Well, fortunately, you're closer than we are to Connecticut.
Yeah, a little bit. And really fortunate there was like no traffic coming home. Which was
Correct.
amazing.
At all. So surprising.
Mhm.
We couldn't believe
Agreed.
it.
That was great.
Yep.
Great. Chrissy, what have you been working on?
Well, Chris and I have been cleaning, so we emptied the. We actually also had no traffic. Worked the next day, so we worked on Monday and today. So we went to work and only got about a little over 4.5 hours of sleep, or at least that's what I did because I have to get up early for work. So yeah, we took a tiny nap and then unloaded the car. I did the inside, Chris did the outside, so washing all the coolers and unloading the truck and trailer and car. And I put away, did all the dishes from the potluck and mom's cookie containers and the crock pot and emptied all the boxes and brought stuff downstairs. So we're pretty well set. Did a couple loads of laundry. Yeah, we're doing okay.
Yeah, I've got the car in the garage up on the lift. And I've given it a quick once over. I haven't finalized everything yet, but it appears so the only things that need to be addressed is both front suspensions have a little looseness in them, when you grab the wheel top and bottom and give it a shake, both of them have a tiny bit of play, so it's probably a ball joint starting to go, which I'm not surprised. You know, these control arms aren't very old, but they're street stuff, and they're not used to the kind of loads we're putting on them, but they're so damn cheap that it's okay. It's a consumable. Change them once in a while. They're not hard.
And it's better to do it at home while it's on the lift than at the racetrack during the race.
Absolutely.
Ask me how I know.
Yep. Yeah, the control arms in this car are 3 bolts, and they're about $60. So they just keep getting changed. That's okay. No problem. Great.
Ready?
All right, well, that's simple. Simple enough. Well, now, Chrissy, you ready?
It's time!
Do you have a spare $1 million and want something none of your other rich guy friends have?
I do, actually.
You do?
I do.
That's good. You have rich
Convenient.
guy friends?
Yep.
Yes.
One of the 9 remaining GM Futureliners is for sale. Nico D'Amata of The Drive brings us the story and says, the Futureliner looks more like an apartment building than Jay Gatsby would own than a bus, which is only part of what makes it special. At its core, a 12-foot tall rolling showcase of pre-war Americana. It currently belongs to Peter Pan Bus Lines in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I can speak today. And it stands as one of the only 12 Futureliners ever made between 1936 and 1940. They were all originally built to promote GM's Parade of Progress, and after all these years, just 9 are believed to remain. Even then, the whereabouts of most of them are unknown. This specific example is half of a duo owned by Peter Pan, but its sibling is derelict. With its massive GM logo, 4 horizontal headlights, skinny windshield, and corrugated aluminum side panels, there isn't a vehicle on this planet that looks like the Futureliner. Powering the Futureliner is a 4-cylinder Detroit diesel with a 4-speed automatic transmission, sending power to the rear wheels. Since it weighs right around 12 tons, it isn't exactly quick, but who needs speed when you have this much style? Link is in the notes.
Those things are so cool.
It doesn't have any windows.
No, because it's not made to be a passenger vehicle. It was made to be a rolling display showcase. So they open the sides up and talk about.
Open the side up.
This is, remember, this is the late 30s. They're trying to say, look, here is the new things that General Motors is doing to the future. And they'd have all the stuff in it. So it has 3 seats in it. They're all up in the top. The driver's seat is in the very top front center. And there's 2 seats, kind of there's like a sofa behind the driver for the passengers. But it wasn't meant. It's not a bus. It's a rolling showcase.
Didn't you guys see one at one of the shows you went to?
Yeah. Well, Mental did it. It's a Atlanta auto show or something. And he even got to walk up to the top and everything too. It was great. That's one of our YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yep. Hey, so now someone can buy one. That's great.
Sure.
All right. The police in San Luis Obispo, California, had an interesting call recently, reports Beverly Braga at The Drive. She notes that the sheriff's office answered a call regarding a suspicious vehicle parked in a lot in nearby Los Osos, California. Turned out the vehicle was an Oshkosh M1070 heavy equipment transporter. The M1070 is built to U.S. Army specs in order to move large and heavy machinery and vehicles. This includes self-propelled artillery, armored vehicle, and, of course, tanks like the M1 Abrams, the America's Army go-to battle tank. But earlier in the year, this particular M1070 wasn't scheduled for R&R, so why was it hanging loose near Morro Bay? Because it had been stolen while in transit to Southern California. How one steals a military transporter, especially one that can haul a tank, is a story ripped from the latest Fast and the Furious 11 script, because, there's probably going to be another one. But and like the Fast and Furious franchise, this story involves a climactic pursuit when the deputies arrived, and their person of interest fled with the M1070. The driver ended up a few miles down the road in Montana de Oro State Park, where he crashed through the gate. Fittingly, the vehicle then became lodged in an area known as Sandspit Beach. So even though it was stuck in the sand several times over, now surrounded by law enforcement cornucopia of local and federal agencies, the driver still refused to exit the tank transporter. So Sheriff's deputies, Harbor Patrol, Coast Guard, and California State Park Rangers were all involved with the perimeter around the stolen vehicle, which is, the kind of action an M1070 was looking for, right? So eventually, the sheriff's special enforcement detail arrived and threw tear gas into the vehicle.
No!
So that did it. The driver finally emerged from the vehicle and was taken into custody that night. Then identified as Patrick Kelvin Van S., 63, of Los Angeles, and he is being charged with theft of the vehicle, evasion, and destruction of public property. The latter two are felonies in California. So,
Wow.
Yep. Interesting ride. Didn't go quite as planned.
I think it's
Amazing.
funny that he wouldn't get out of the truck, the large truck. Like, you're
Till he
stuck.
gets his ass tear gassed.
What do you think is going to happen here? You're going to either get shot or what? At some point, I guess giving yourself up
at some
is
point,
not
you
the
have
right-
to realize I have made a series of poor decisions here, and I don't know what else I'm going to do.
Right, or you flee, or
Yeah, well,
You
eventually
start-
you got to realize, I'm done. I have
you're
zero
also
options
in the-
left.
you're in
So
the
you
sand.
you put your
So you
hands out the
can't-
window. You say, "Okay, sorry," because if the police have to come for you, they're bringing an ass kicking with them usually. So don't
and
do
then
that.
you were tear gassed, so that
Right.
sucks too.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Anyway, slow news week. That's what I got.
fine. That's fine. We've had slower news weeks, so that's okay.
Yep.
You can find anything on Racing Junk. And with Dave here, we went looking for a mid-size, luxurious Toyota sedan with a straight six, as he has a certain proclivity for those. We found this 1997 Toyota Crown Royal Salon, a mid-sized luxury sedan. This particular Crown is in amazing condition overall, with about 92,000 miles on its odometer. It runs and drives like a brand new car with its air conditioning and heater function flawlessly. Oh, hi, we have a friend. In addition to its remarkable condition, this Crown also boasts a clean and stunning interior, as well as a well-maintained exterior. It features electronic folding mirrors and provides exceptionally comfortable ride. All in all, this outstanding vehicle is given its age and mileage. They got the good membership, so there's lots of great pictures of this, which is great deal at $12,000. You're gonna have to click the link because we don't have it shown on here.
Yeah, I
It's
can't
basically
make that
like
show
Lexus.
and not get it back. But
Okay.
it's not an LS 400 though. Like, it's a slightly
No.
different platform than that, but it's got all the Lexus features and what, I don't know. It seemed up your alley, Dave. Big
yeah.
Toyota rear drive,
2JZ.
mid-sized luxury sedan. Oh no shit.
And we have a special guest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who else is here?
Hi, it's Timber.
Teme. Hi, Teme.
Hi,
Teme,
friends.
how was your day in
Sorry.
Bahaba?
Sorry for being late. I got back from the Bahaba. It was great. Place
How you
is
feeling
awesome.
today?
We went to- I feel good. Yeah.
Excellent. That's good.
But it was, a lot later than this morning.
Yeah.
This morning was different. That was a different answer this morning.
Yep.
Do you want to
Well-
tell us why, or indicate how much fun you're having?
Oh my goodness, we
Having a
had
good
so
time.
much. We had so much fun. First time ever to Bar Harbor. Went with some friends and we decided that it'd be a good idea to go to a new restaurant and have an appetizer and a drink. And it was awesome. Like, everything was fantastic. But there's so many restaurants.
Yeah. Bahaba is pretty busy.
Yeah, it was really fun. Super
Great.
fun. If you haven't gone, go. And go to Acadia. Acadia is beautiful.
Next time you're there, go to the other side of the island to South Harbor.
We loved South Harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's super
quieter.
low key, quiet, but very, very nice. And we had a really fun B&B that we stayed in. There's a great restaurant down the street, and just all the usual main things too. So would recommend.
Yeah, I want to go back to Acadia for a few days and do a bunch of hiking. It's just
Yeah.
spectacular.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
Before we move on to racing, can we do a what you working on with Timmy? Because Timmy didn't come racing with us this weekend because he was at a golf tournament. So how'd that go?
Yeah, so it was fun. Yeah, I had played in the member guest at the club that I'm a member at here. I'm a member at Augusta Country Club, and my buddy Ray came in from Austin. They're staying with us which is just so much fun. And then I'll play in his member guest in October. So we kind of go back and forth, and it was cool. We played practice round Thursday, and then we played 18 holes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we did good. We won our flight. We got into the shootout, and we didn't win the whole thing. Another team made birdie to win the whole thing, but I think we won the fun prize, top fun prize, which was,
No way.
it was weird. Yeah, I only had 56 cigars, and probably, I don't know, 4 times that amount in transfusions and beers and whiskeys and all.
Surprised you can speak at the moment. So.
If you
He's a
voice
professional.
get a little deeper,
He is
send them fried potatoes.
Oh, you're Dave said you're a professional. He said, I don't know if everybody heard that. Yeah, I'm surprised that you can.
Glad you made it.
Is your liver giving the white flag yet?
Agua.
Night off, and you can start back in the morning. That's good
Yep.
for you.
Yeah,
Couple days of
yeah,
detax. Yep.
We're just gonna pretend like the liver and I are on speaking terms, and then we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yep.
Good plan.
Sounds good.
Super,
All right.
super fun.
Thanks for
Okay.
coming to the show.
All right, Chrissy, what's next?
It's race results time. There's no races this weekend. Go to the beach or something. But let's talk about the race results.
Well, we went to Thompson, so we got results from there.
Yay.
Timmy, you want to start us off there?
Yeah, the boring BMW no theme get your crap together Boston Whiners won the overall. It's a team that has really been trying hard. It's not the USA, it's just the US. So good job, Repedal.
Yay.
Well played. Well
Golf
played. C, more to come on that one. C is Moot Point Racing and their Volvo 240. And I know that's not the Bertone Volvo because they had a whole different type of weekend from what I know.
Yeah, it's the black semi-truck themed Volvo. And those guys are regular listeners, so hey,
They're
hello,
great.
gentlemen.
Yeah, congrats
They
to
are.
them.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
They had this thing locked up by about 2:00 on Sunday. Even though they started with a bunch of penalty laps, they just never stopped. Ran a great race.
Well, welcome to B.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
Yeah,
heroic
they
fix.
were in pit too. I remember those guys.
Yep. Go ahead,
Yep,
Dave.
heroic fix went to the Purple Rain Focus.
I don't remember what they did. Do you guys remember what it is that they did? They fixed.
I don't remember. I was sweating so bad in the awards I couldn't even pay attention.
Yeah.
No, it was no air.
It was so
They were
bad.
in a lot, and their garage. They were in the garage at the very opposite end of the garages from us. But no, I don't remember.
They were
what
running when I was out in track, but hey, Gay, good job, you fixed it, yay!
They also came
Yay.
in during the race, went through tech just because in Prince costumes with a bubble wand going, like one of those electronic bubble things going.
Yes,
and
I
they
remember
had-
that. It was solidly green flag time, and they were just being friendly with bubbles.
Yeah,
It was
I don't
nice.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember why.
Okay.
Yep. I got screwed with the Acura Integra. They blew up in testing and they never got it fixed.
Yeah, Eric said they did something bad enough that it just launched the starter right off the car, and they
Yes.
that damaged
Yes, I
something
remember.
else, and yeah,
Wow.
that's a shame.
Yep. And then the judge's choice went to, I guess that's Nisberon's with that pretty incredible Infiniti M30. That thing was pretty epic out there. I
It
saw it and
was.
was like, wow, that thing just looks like they just drove it in and put it on track.
It looks like they pulled it out of grandmom's garage. It was super
Exactly.
clean, like white pearlescent M30, which you don't even know what an M30 is. This when Infiniti launched in the U.S. in like 1991. They had two cars. They had the Q45, which was the big V8 sedan everyone knows, right? And then they're like, well, we got to do something else. So they had this M30, which is based on the Nissan Leopard. It was like, well, we have this. We could just put some leather and a different badge on it and it'll be good enough. And they sold about 12 of them. So this one was still around. It was great to see.
They were very slow, but they kept going around and around.
Yeah, they're very polite. They're always staying out of the way. They're predictable. They did the slow car thing pretty well.
The livery though.
No,
They
no,
had
nobody
one-
did.
Okay. I kept. It said stay asleep and like
Obey.
forever obey, and it had like other things. I guess it was deep enough that maybe
I
somebody
asked
got.
Manny if he knew what it was, if it was explained to him. He's like, yeah, I have no idea. So
Okay.
But
Every time I saw it, I was trying to figure out why.
that was the first M30, was it not, in Lemons?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody knows what that theme was, you can tell us about it.
Let us know.
Sure,
'cause
that'd be nice.
We can figure it out. It was
In the notes down below.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Put
what
it
comments are for. Yeah,
there.
great.
To explaining the shit that we don't know. Okay.
Uh-huh.
We have a bunch of regional awards this time. The first one was the groom's gift to lemons. That's too broke to care. Adam Shaw. Shout out to Adam Shaw. He he and the whole whole groom's party came and made a 200-pound pig. And they showed up late to the potluck, but they made it all happen, and they were great about it. They had problems with what do they have? A Mustang? Is that what that is? It's
They-
really beat.
They have a Mustang, but they also had a E30 that they stuck a Mercedes 5-cylinder turbo diesel in. And that damn thing kept working all weekend, of course. That
It has
car
an
worked.
exhaust out the roof,
Yep.
which is always exciting. Oh, there's a kitty. Hi,
Yep.
kitty.
Dave's kitty is joining us. Hello, Dave's kitty.
Oh no, she's
No,
like, no, I
not
gotta
anymore.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one regional award, which was awesome for them. The next one is the Saturn Bowl. I think this was the Saturn that did the best. Is that why?
Yeah, the
Yes.
other Saturn that's not Manny's challenged them to see which Saturn sucks least. And it's
So
funny
the
that the team that challenged them lost.
Yes, right. That was it. Went to the Sesame Street Outlaws, which is fun, and their Saturn. And then the regional three went to the only Porsche without black flags. Went to Team Regressive.
Yep. Org choice went to Team Hesh. You've heard about Team Hesh before. They have this 82 Escort pony, and when they showed up with this thing the first time, it was exactly as you'd expect to find it in a high school parking lot in 1998. And it was faded two-tone, faded blue, just awful car. And they keep racing it, keep making it a little bit better. They've gotten a lot better over the years. Great people, great attitude. And this time they themed it up as an ice cream truck. They put a box on the back of it. They painted it white and pink. They had a ice cream cone on the roof, and they had a little speaker
ice cream
playing
song.
ice cream music, right? And they gave out ice cream. It was great, and it all went really wonderfully until about an hour into the race, maybe, not even, when they came up over the hill onto the straight, and the car slid a little more than it usually did, and it's a little toppier than it used to be. And they hit the edge of the track with the wheel still turned, and the car went over onto its side and then all the way over. So that's unfortunate. It caused a little incident right there. Chrissy was right there for.
I was seconds away from being part of that incident, actually. But also, so I drove right up and over the hill when it happened. And the sad thing was that I said, so when I stopped, I said, I can see the incident. And I said, I think the ice cream truck rolled. And they still had the ice cream music going. And it was heartbreaking.
And the cone
Like,
never
the
fell
cone-
off.
the ice cream
cone
cone
was
was
still
still
there.
on there. And so I was like, I think it rolled, but the ice cream cone's still there. So I'm not really sure. And then everybody confirmed that it had rolled. So I just thought, and so to end, additionally, why they got org choice was because the car was awesome. It also, the paint job was really good from 10 feet away. Like it looked
Yep.
not professional, I'm sure, but like it was white with just like different colored dots. It was very well done. When they crashed, they were out. They cut off the ice cream truck part. They took off the ice cream cone, and they took out the song, and they put it all to their cart, their gas cart, their like their
Fueling
gas
cart.
can cart, fueling cart, and they went around and still gave out ice cream in their costumes after their car rolled. It was amazing. So that's why they got our choice, because they were awesome. Very
Yep.
sad. R.I.P.
I saw the video of that, and there was a secondary incident that happened moments later with a Mini, so I noticed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Did you get to witness all of that too?
I did.
Well,
Main topic time. Let's get to main topic time. Let's get through here and this, and then next time. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Go.
HMG went to a multi-car effort of HOA, Hoopty Owners Association versus anti-HOA. So there were a number of gentlemen dressed up as Karens, borrowing dresses from their wives and thrift
Some of them
stores.
look great in them, actually.
Said yes to the dress. He found the one.
We had a conversation with them on Saturday
We're
night. It
giving
was great.
out HOA notices of violations. The Mazda got one for not having enough rust and being too white for the neighborhood. So to give you an idea. So
Mine was approved.
yours is approved.
HOA
Yes.
approved.
Yeah. Good. Yep. So that was great. There was also some anti-HOA teams that were defund the HOA. Yep, and they had a piece of AstroTurf they'd put out, and anyone would walk on it, they'd yell at people to stay off the grass, and just, things like that.
Like huge full-size flags that said defund the HOA. So they'd have all the Karen meeting, and then they'd have the people coming by with the defund the HOA, and they fought. And they were in costume all weekend, and they walked
made
away.
gift baskets for the A, B, and C winners. Welcome to the neighborhood.
So that if you see what we're holding, and my phone has a range of pictures of, we were given the gift basket, but we actually weren't given the award. So we're standing there, and we were like, great. And they were like, they said welcome to the neighborhood, and they gave us the gift basket, and then we were like,
we're waiting for judges to give us the actual
and they were like,
real
oh,
award.
yeah. Well, let's just go get that off the table now. And they had to go look for which one it was. So kind of funny. And I took a picture, actually. I put it on my Facebook because my mother texted me and she's like horrified. She says, what are you even holding? And I was like, oh, it's a gift basket. And then here's the crap that was in it. And it's so funny, the stuff that's in it. It is there's random tools. There's a used head gasket from some car. What did you said? It
Some
was
kind of a V6, one side of a V6.
There is a CD of like Run DMX CD and a pen with a jewel on it. I'm looking over my shoulder.
There's some nitrile gloves. There's some tissues. There's some octane
granola
booster.
bar.
Granola, like an unlabeled granola bar from a
Like
mall, just in
they
a silver package.
Took it out of the box and you don't know what it is. It's in
roll
the
of paper
cabinet.
towels. It was a nice thing, and that was a whole list, a group of teams. I don't even know all the teams it was, but includes the Pete Cheat Focus, Misfortune Cookie, Mini, Hack Factory was involved in that somehow too, and there was more. So great job keeping the theme going all weekend, everyone.
It was good.
And Iowa went to a car that anyone's racing in the North Seas has passed and gotten a point by from many times in the race, and that's Mr. H Motorsports in their Volvo 760. This thing has completely stock suspension. It wallows through the corners, like it just lists through all of them. It still is running the PRV V6 that they got at a junkyard in 2016. And an automatic transmission, and they just drive it, and they are so polite out there. Like, you never ever have a problem getting around them. They have great situational awareness. They point you by all the time, and the damn thing came in like 20 something overall, even though it had like the 90th fastest lap time. So totally well deserved for those guys. That was great.
All right. We're going to talk more about the race in 1 minute. Listener feedback time! Okay, on YouTube, It's Probably Fine said, please do an episode on the cool shirt system with the parts list. My next project for the car is to build one. The whole cool shirt fast merger has me a bit of a quandary as to what to do with the connections/hoses. We think this is a great idea. We're in the market for new cool shirts too, and we have ideas on our setup, and we'll probably do a show probably sometime soon. So maybe we can use you can use the parts and get it built if you're still doing a race in the coming months. So yes, we will do that. Thanks.
And Paul Jan said on YouTube, CloudStrike CEO wins I Got Screwed trophy for last week. Yes.
Fair.
Yeah.
Mental, who has been reduced to listener status last week, and he said, Chrissy's mom absolutely deserves a baking cool shirt.
If we can figure out how to make it non-cumbersome, might be a fun idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just turn the air conditioning down in the house.
Which they usually do, especially on baking weekends. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are always happy to talk to listeners in person at races. And at Thompson, the Slow Civic stopped by to say hi and let us know that on Friday they were halfway through the track walk. And then I encouraged them to continue to listening to the second half so they know exactly where they're going. And they said they were going to. But then they told us that Chris was too quiet the last episode. So just to let you all know that we do we all sound fine to ourselves in the show. We usually let each other know. We try to do kind of a mic check before we start, but things sound different when our voices are coming out of your speakers. So please feel free to let us know when our levels are wrong, because then we can fix them. I know that I am very loud and Chris is just not. So we can fix them, and then you shouldn't have to turn up the sound up and down as you probably did for our last episode. So we like your feedback.
And it's a little different this time too, because I have been recording it this week and last week because Mental is not here. So the way the sound level is, I noted that because I took Mental's profile for this recording software, and I noted he had turned the sound limit on him down, which makes perfect sense. So I turned it back up for me. So hopefully this week is going to be better. I'm trying to make sure I am talking a little louder. I've got the microphone right in front of my face, so we should be good there. So thanks for the feedback. And lastly, we posted our win a bunch of places and had so many congratulations and praise and surprise and text and calls. So it was wonderful. Thanks all for all the support. We're really happy we got it done.
Well, let's talk about it. Well, first.
Well, do you know whose sound is always on point?
Sure.
Yep.
Never speaks too low and always has wonderful, wonderful quality of sound. That's Chrissy.
Sure. Yes.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Chrissy.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Everyone enjoyed your cookies who had them this weekend.
Yes.
And they were
Delish.
just the right amount. Sometimes we
Yep.
have weekends where she goes up and above overboard, and then we have so much, but everybody took their bags of cookies home. Tim, sorry you didn't get any. It's very sad.
Dave, did your bag of cookies make it all the way home?
Nope.
Nope.
Not a chance. No. Nope.
And you could have taken all that there were there, because I told you before I told anybody else that they were on the table for the taking. So you could have just said, "Oh, everybody
Yoink.
came by and they're all gone."
I don't know what happened.
He runs away with like 6 sandwich bags of cookies. Okay,
Yep.
it's
right.
big topic time.
We're going to talk more about Thompson. We've already started talking about it, but we're just going to talk about it. We were all there. Well, not Tim. For those three of us were there. Right?
Yay!
And we're going to talk about what happened. It was a good weekend. Lots of fun. So let's go in chronological order. Thursday, traveling there. Chrissy and I left home at like 3:15, and traffic sucked. And yeah, the I-84 was actually closed further north, so Waze tried to route us down to 95, which was a parking lot, but we didn't do that. But anyway, it was terrible whichever way you were going to go. We pulled in at like 9:30 after foregoing a full fuel stop and everything, but we made it. How about you, Dave?
Yeah, we hit the same traffic. I think we left about, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock. And when 84 got closed, it happened right in front of us. Like, I shouldn't say right in front of us, a couple miles in front of us. And we were able to jump off an exit and just route our way around and, make a pit stop and continue on. I don't think we got there till like 6-ish, 6 or 6:30. We should have been there like well before 5.
And that was consistent with everybody that was traveling. I'm pretty sure there was some New Yorkers. Wasn't it Paul and Amanda? I think they showed up. It took them a good couple. Didn't it take somebody like 7 hours to get from New York?
Tom Lamino said he never went above
Lamino.
30 miles an hour from the time he left Long Island until he was past Hartford or something like that.
Yeah, so everybody really struggled on Thursday for no real reason.
Yep. But we got there, unpacked. It was warm. It was humid.
So humid.
Nice to see everybody.
Yes. Yeah,
All
unpacked.
good. We actually had garages because Dave was in charge of the garages for Thompson.
Yes!
So we always have them, and they're always good. It's amazing how that works. Right?
Pretty simple.
Yep. So no problems there. All right. Friday. Wake up bright and early, ready to go. It's testing day. Chrissy's working because we used up all our PTO in France. So I'm just working on the car by myself at that point. We have for our team this weekend, Chrissy and I had joining us the Lemons legend Anton Levitt from California. Anton has run 147 races, I think. He's won just about everything there is, multiple times, including multiple drivers' championships. He gets it, and we were thrilled to have him with us this weekend. But he wasn't going to get there until the early afternoon because he was flying in from California.
At some point, I say to him, "Oh, you know what? We're trying for B. It's so hard to win B." And he was like, "I just won like 7 of them." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, now I guess it's 8 for him. So, or 6 or 7. I think he couldn't remember. So, yes, he's good like that."
Yeah. So Tim, you were playing golf, so instead of you, we had to upgrade to Anton. Sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like it was an upgrade because he's got a good record.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday, yes, I worked half the day, and then we just kind of hung around for the rest. Oh, we got it back. We got in the car. We did some testing.
I did. Yeah, there's kind of a lot that we did on Friday. So I had to find brake pads that Bill had for me because he had ordered previously, get those onto the car in the back and put the new tires on and like break in the motor. Who knew that motor had 20 miles on it at the point we showed up at the track. So finally get all those things done and go out and gradually build up temperature on all those new things. And everything seems okay. And I'm starting to push it a little bit, about 8 laps in. And then I'm coming out of the bowl or out of the oval area into that left-right sweeper. And I notice in my mirror a big puff of smoke. I'm like, oh no. And then a few seconds later, another one. I said, all right, well, something's wrong. I'm going right into the pits again. So I pull in and back the car in the garage, into the garage and open the hood and nothing. There's no oil leaks. There's nothing. Everything looks perfectly fine. So it's all right. We'll let it cool off. At that point, we'd done enough to heat cycle the tires. So swap the crappy testing day tires back on. And we start thinking about it and looking around. And the motor is basically the same. But the one thing we changed from the old motor to this one is the sump. It's got a different oil pan because it's got the escape oil pan, which has some baffles in it and has the windage tray that I made, versus the old one, which is a Mazda 3 oil pan, which didn't really have any baffles on it and had an extended version of the stock windage tray, and that was it. So, and having them had this whole motor apart, I know that the crankcase vent is in the front of the engine, pretty low down behind the intake manifold is where the baffling, and it's just literally a hole down into the sump. So we realized that if there was enough oil in it and it sloshed forward enough, it could get sucked into the baffle for the crank vent system. And with a fresh motor with good vacuum, it sucked it right up and was just burning it, blowing it out the other end. So looked at I had more oil in it than I was expecting. I was intending to overfill it because that's worked out nicely for us, but it was a little more than I probably should have had in there. So drained some oil out of it, and it was still above the full line, but it was more comfortably less above the full line. Got that back together, went out, drove it hard, and everything seemed to be pretty good. A little bit of residual oil from what was in the manifold, I think, but after that, it was great. The car felt great. The front rotors still had an uneven transfer layer on it. I'd put new ones on the rear, but I think what happened is after the car blew up the motor last time, somebody had their foot on the brakes for a while after the car has stopped. So it went from hot to stopped and stood there for a while and just put a solid bit of transfer layer on each rotor. So we had to replace all the rotors. But after I did that, the brakes were nice and smooth and the car seemed great. So handed it off to Chrissy.
Except
I think
this was after, well, we had lunch, I think. This was after the lunch break, I believe.
Yep.
Yes. So I went out and still had a little. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry if you're watching video. There's a cat that is running around my my little desk here. I had a couple of puffs of smoke. I came in, make sure that we thought that we went away. We're like, oh, this is great. We figured it out, and then we were happy that we tested, and then we realized it was still there. So I came in a couple of times just to make sure that everybody was good with the amount of smoke that we were still having. That did dissipate throughout the afternoon, which was good. Yeah, and so we continued to test, went out there. Yeah, I did probably a good half an hour or so, and it was all good. Yes, Tim.
Where was its happy place with the oil level by the end of the day?
About 3/4 of a quart above the full line.
Okay.
That seemed to be good.
So I think I got in, and then Anton got in. He got there successfully with minimal issues. He did have an EV that came with no charge, so he had to take an extra long stop on the way to get to the racetrack because, of course, there's no chargers at the racetrack, so there's that.
Yep. Anton and I went over the car for a few minutes, just what are the temperatures supposed to be? What is it like? What's normal? And he comes back in half an hour. He's like, he was really happy with it. Happy with the balance, happy with how it drove, happy with everything. So half hour, he's like, yeah, I'm good. I got it. Like, yep, sure you do.
You have to know and talk to Anton to understand his mannerisms. Yes, he was. He did better job of calming me down, and he was like, "So we ready to dominate?" He was like, "Yeah, okay, okay, okay." We're a little bit more excitable than he is, but great teammate, and of course, team owner, which is we love having team owners on our team because they're always picking stuff up and trying to figure out how they can help, and just always
mechanical sympathy
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, besides that, yes. But always trying to work on the car and see what they can do. So yeah, it was definitely nice having him on the team. So Friday, we had a couple pouring down thunderstorms. Actually, the session ended early, about an hour early because of the rain. This track has a protocol that they shut down the track if there is lightning within a certain amount of miles within a certain amount of time. 8 miles,
and then you have to wait. I think it's like 8
like
miles, and then you have to wait half an hour since the last time it happened. So.
Right. So they said that there's lightning, and there was a lot of water, and it was like standing water. So it was enough for them to call it. So I believe we ended about an hour earlier than we usually do. So so testing was fine.
Yeah, but we were done. We put the car back together, put the other wheels back on it. It was ready to go. So good. Dave, how was your Friday?
Well, I'll just preface it by saying that when your driver tells you there's a clunk in the car, you really should really dig in to try to find the clunk and not just think it's something like an exhaust hanger or something loose. Because when I got in the car on Friday morning, I experienced a serious clunk whenever I would lift. As soon as I would decelerate, I'd hear it from the rear end. It sounded to me like the diff. Knew right away. First thing, brought it in, put it on jack stands. I'm going to swap the diff. So that's what I spent most of my morning doing.
Yes.
Well, of course I have a spare one, yes.
Yeah.
But see, I had intentions of swapping this one in anyway because I had one rebuilt It was fresh, ready to go. The one in the car has got probably, I don't know, four years on it now. And I figured, you know what, it's time we'll put a fresh one in instead of wait until that one blows up, and keep that one as a spare for a while. And then when I get some time and some extra change, rebuild that one and be set. Because these diffs, for these like mid 80s Toyotas, Supras, and Cressidas are getting much more expensive and much harder to find. So, but anyway, so that was what I did, spent most of my morning doing. And, but then I come to find out that the clunk wasn't actually the diff itself. It was a mounting bracket that's on the back of it. So the diff bolts into the subframe from the front. There's like 6 bolts that hold into the front of the diff in. And then there's a smaller subframe that bolts to the back with 2 bolts. And one of them was completely missing, and the other one was probably about halfway out. So that clunk, and Tim probably remembers this, whenever you'd put the car in reverse and you'd go to back out of the garage and you'd hear a little clunk, that was that clunk. It just got worse and more magnified. So once I bolted that all back together, and in the middle of that, the Team Hesh came by with their ice cream truck, and Chris grabbed me an ice cream. So that was really refreshing. But
Yeah, I sat there and ate ice cream while watching you work too, which is the best part.
No chips. Yes. No chips. Everybody's eating ice cream. We got it back together. I sent Steve out in it. He said it was great. Car was good. Made some suspension changes before the race in between New Jersey and now. Changed the springs. Now are all fresh springs in all 4 corners. Lowered the car a little bit. And handling-wise, the car felt great. So Steve came back in. We went through tech. And then that's when they closed the track down. So our third driver, because Tim was not available, was 2-time champion Neil Losi. So Neil didn't get to go out at all because the track got closed early.
Fortunately, Neil's driven that car and that track before.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did
that was no big deal.
Did you find that the car is not lifting the rear tire under hard cornering now with your new changes?
It still does. I'm going to have to change the rear shocks. I need to put longer rear shocks in to get that little bit of droop back, because it does actually turn in better with the new front springs. And I don't want to lose that, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to stiffen the front end up to keep from it rolling over too much and picking that rear tire up. I noticed it more like in, was it turn 4, the hairpin. Like, if I was getting on the brakes a little too late, I noticed actually a little wheel hop on the rear tire. You know what I mean? Like, I was actually getting too light for that reason. If I was like trail braking in a little too late than I normally would. If I did all my braking in a straight line and was good, it was fine. But otherwise, really no problem with it. It's just I'm concerned with New Hampshire with turn 3. When we go to turn 3 in New Hampshire, and you're really loading on the left side, going up that hill, that is going to do it. So I will have new rear shocks for the rear that are a little bit longer by then.
excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And Friday night we did a track walk with Anton, and halfway through it started to rain pretty significantly, so that was nice.
It was fine.
Yeah, it's all right. We never got to the point of squishy shoes wet, but we were pretty wet.
Correct.
Yeah, and then Wartburgers and
Wartburgers, yeah.
General evening festivities, but it was pretty tame. I think the rain chased a lot of people away. So we were in bed. There's no one around. All right, well, let's go to sleep. So we were up. We went to bed bright and early, and it was nice.
Well, we knew we were going to
Friday night.
start.
Go ahead, Chrissy.
No, we knew that, race starts next morning. So, and, a decent morning, got to get up and get ready to start the race. So, yeah, it was worth it. Good.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is like, it seems to me in even past history at Thompson that because Saturday is such a long day and it starts early, Friday night's pretty tame.
There's a
The heat
Jacko.
there. But the heat too, I think, factors in. A lot of people are just wiped out. Even
Yeah.
just they're tired. They want to go to bed.
Yeah, the same
And
thing
the
happened Saturday night. Everyone was just beat from being hot and a long day.
And the humidity was so much. If it wasn't raining, it felt like you were swimming through the air. You just couldn't stop sweating, and it was yeah. And even the West Coast guys, they were like, "Oh, we kept saying hot," and they were like, we do like it's 115 at home," and we're like, "But the humidity." They're like, "You win." It's the humidity. It was just so much, and yeah, so that beat everybody up. So yeah, so Friday went to bed at normal hour.
Yep. So Saturday morning, Chrissy started us off. How was your shift out there, Chrissy?
I did. It was fine. It was fine. Pretty much consistently throughout the weekend, but definitely through my first stint. You normally assume there was 95 cars that started, and on a track that's what 1.6, I think 6 or 7, something like that. So not a very big track. Some places you really can't even go too wide, and 95 cars is a lot. So we expect to have some dicing through lots of traffic, having local yellows and even some longer double yellows. My stint did not have basically any of those. I did have the red flag with the rollover. And as I mentioned, so things were going pretty well. And then I want to say it was about an hour in because I was pretty darn hot. I did have a cool suit. I did have a water bottle, but I was just hot. And so yeah, so the as much as I'm very sorry for all of the people involved in the red flag, we were able to come in and then be able to get a water bottle, cool towel. I had an umbrella man, so that was great. So anyway, back to the incident that happened. So we already talked about the rollover, but the rollover actually caused more problems as the ice cream truck rolled over the escort. And Chris, you said you have told the story better maybe. The escort that was going.
Well,
No, not the
I heard
escort.
it. I heard it from a couple of the people who were
ahead.
involved.
Please go ahead.
So there was an E30 that came up over the hill and saw the bottom of the escort and said, "Oh no," and braked really hard and didn't hit it. And then a Mini came over the hill, didn't slow down enough, and then they plowed into the E30 hard and pushed that around over into the guardrail too. So the E30
And then
got
I
bounced
think
around.
somebody was trying to avoid all of that and then ended up rear-ending the E30, I think.
Well, that was the Mini was the one that hit the E30 and pushed into the guardrail.
Okay.
So, and I think there was a Miata that was somehow tangentially involved, but it wasn't too
Something
bad.
like that. Yes.
Yeah, but the E30, what that thing is
It's done.
trashed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the Mini bent a frame rail on the front too. They ended up with a parts car and tried all weekend to like make it work, but they just couldn't get it to work either. So
and they were the ones. And so really, if the escort that had rolled had stood on its brakes and not, but basically they had rolled back onto the track, and then people tried to avoid that. So that's what did not help that incident become bigger.
yeah,
So
it's tough. I imagine you just roll over, you're in shock. You don't know what's going on. You literally don't know which way is up at that point. Remembering to stand on the brakes is hard to do.
Yeah.
But when it rolled backwards onto the track is when the other things happened, unfortunately.
So if you're familiar with the Thompson track, so this all happened right at where pit out is. So right on the air quotes straight, right
pit
before
in
pit in.
track.
I'm sorry, pit
Yep.
in. Yeah, I apologize. Pit in, getting into the pit, and so there is a hill, and you're going to come down the hill and then go up over the hill. That's basically blind, and there is a flagger that's going to be on your right, and there is a a wall that comes out. And so basically you're going pretty fast. I did not see a yellow before that flag. I don't recall if I saw one as I was coming down the hill. There may have been a yellow as I was coming down the hill, and I had seen it sort of slow down a little bit, but you never know what's going up and over the hill. So I looked up and saw the yellow flag change to a red flag at right before you go up over the blind hill. and the incident is right on the other side of that hill. So my brain says, yellow, okay, slow down. Oh, red, red. Wait, we don't. Why are we seeing red? What does red mean? Oh, let me slow down. And so by then I had come and pulled off to the left-hand side of the track, so on the grassy side, away from not knowing where the incident was or whatever anything was happening because it was blind. And so I was basically a couple seconds away from being part of that incident. And so I stopped on the side of the road, and that's where I got a full view because so the video that was posted, if it was 1 second after that video, you would have seen my car. Because there was the Miata that had rolled up over the grass. You could see them pull off, and I'm right there. So then I was told, waiting for instruction, told to pull off and go into pit lane. And then I sat in pit lane for a while. They said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm hot, but I'm fine." And I was actually the very first car in line. At this point, and we all know, or at least three of us know, about being a judge and being part of staff, that you train and talk about what happens if you're going to have a red flag, a black flag, and you kind of come up with a plan. But there was a lot of confusion when this happened. I think the location on the track didn't help because there was a lot of back and forth of staff making sure that obviously that there's so many cars that were part of this incident. They needed to make sure that everybody got off track safely, and then people were kind of not listening to directions, and you have to try to get around the incident to be able to get back into pit lane. So when I'm sitting in pit lane, they were all talking to each other, and they said, "Okay, everybody's going to go in. We're all going to go in." So I'm the first car, and says, "Okay, they told me to go in, so I'm going to go into the pits."
Out of the hot pits into the regular paddock is what you're talking about.
Yes, thank you. So I go in, and nobody follows me. And so I say, "Okay, well, this is the instruction that I was given." And so I pull around and everybody's saying, "Okay, go in like you're getting ready for the morning, just like you're starting the race." So I get in line, and there's two cars in front of me that had not made it out on track when the red flag happened. So fortunately, Chris comes over. He brings me a very large golf umbrella to shade me.